Hello everyone, Wisa here. Today, we're going to talk about more ESO tips from new players, that's us, to other fellow new folks. If you like our videos and want to see more of us, please be sure to check out our Twitter and Twitch channels in the description below. Without further ado, let's get on with it. Floating text damage. We really like seeing how well we're doing in combat, but due to the nature of the game, the default interface doesn't inform you how well things are going except for the enemy health bar, which is located at the top center of the screen. You initially have no idea how much damage a skill actually does. Fortunately, you can turn on floating damage and bring ESO closer to most RPGs. To do this, go to Settings, Combat, Combat Text to enable damage numbers to fly out. You also have additional options such as seeing how well your healing and crowd control abilities are. Combat Text is available for outgoing and incoming actions. Attribute % display. ESO borrows heavily from the previous Elder Scrolls game, Skyrim. A lot of the UI elements are directly lifted from it, such as the compass and the attribute bars. Specifically, the health bar layout may be a bit counterintuitive starting out. Instead of seeing a full bar's depletion move towards one direction, the ESO health attribute bar decreases from both ends until it reaches the middle, which is at 0%. For those who think that the middle means you have 50% health remaining, this can be confusing. You can turn on the percentages, raw values, or both for the health bar in the Settings, Combat menu. Change the resource number setting to number and percent for convenience. Dodging and momentum. Dodging in ESO is essential in mitigating incoming damage to get yourself out of sticky situations. By dodging, you can evade devastating attacks from your enemies. However, the default controls for this action is awkward to use because of how it works. You need to double tap a direction key to dodge, but at the same time, you cannot already be holding that same key. This breaks up the momentum of your character's running animation. For example, if you want to dodge forward, you should already be holding W to move forward. You then have to let go of W and quickly double tap W again to actually perform the dodge. Your character will stop for a millisecond or however long it takes you to transition from moving to dodging, and that can mean life or death in some situations. A good suggestion is to remap dodge to a different key so that the momentum is not broken, as you don't need to take your finger off the movement key. You can change this in the controls menu, key bindings, movement, roll dodge. Set it to V, like what we did. You can also disable double tap to dodge in the Settings, Gameplay, Combat menu to prevent unintentional evasion. Area of Effect highlights. Speaking of dodging, another helpful skill to change is the warning indicator when an enemy is about to use an AoE skill. By default, the game uses a dark red color. However, said color can sometimes meld into the terrain, especially orange or red tile sets, and it can get confusing in more hectic fights. You can actually change the color by going to the Settings menu, Gameplay, and then Combat. Make sure combat cues are on, and then set the enemy color to whatever makes you feel comfortable. We use a bright pink to make sure it's very eye-catching. Starting Zone. When you start a new character, you are sent to the latest chapter or expansion that you own, be it the base game Vardenfell if you have Morrowind, Somerset if you have the Somerset chapter, or Elsewhere if you have the Elsewhere chapter. This can get confusing for new players as sometimes the story doesn't always make sense. In the case of Morrowind, the latest chapter that we own, the narrative makes sense as the main questline in this region feels like an isolated story. Players might not realize that they can still go and experience the base game's main story by teleporting to their faction's starting zone. For the Daggerfall Covenant, their starting zone is Stross Mkai, the Aldmeri Dominion starts at Kynarthi's Roost, and the Ebonheart Pact begins in Bleak Rock Isle. As explained in our previous video, be sure to use way shrines so it doesn't cost you too much of your precious starter gold. Mounting up and upgrades. You will be given a simple brown horse mount at level 10. This is account-wide, so when you unlock it on your first character, you can use it as well on all remaining characters, regardless of level. To equip the horse, you need to go to the Collections menu, default key is U, then go to the Mount section and double-click your desired mount. The horse is slow starting out, so to remedy this, you need to visit a stable master.
Best mounts in all of Vardenfell, right here. Come in and see what's available today.
And train it once every 20 hours so that it can become faster, sprint longer, or increase your inventory capacity. Mount training only allows you to increase one stat per day. There are 3 stats. Each can be trained 60 times for a total of 180 days of training. Each training session costs 250 gold, so you also need to get that ready. Though acquiring gold does get easier later in the game. Mount upgrades carry over into different mounts of that same character, but it is not account-wide, so your other characters need to invest in training as well. That's it for today. Let us know what you think in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video, sharing and subscribing to the channel helps us a lot. Thank you for watching and have a great week ahead.